We definitely specialize in silico work. We also specialize in the sense that we're very focused towards the electrostatics of molecules. And go back a slide just a second. So before I go into that, which is our core sort of science, it's worth mentioning first that we don't have a specialism in terms of therapeutic areas. We're very, very agnostic. As I described earlier, we're working with flavor and fragrance, we're working with agrochem, we're working with pharmaceutical companies. So we're sort of agnostic in terms of the sort of therapeutic targets that we can cover. So, but we do focus on chemistry and in silico methods. The force field that we use for some of the analysis is our own force field. So Cresset has its own proprietary force field, which is a molecular mechanics force field that is expanded and describes electrostatics better than normal molecular mechanics force fields. Without going into the details of that, and there's lots of details on the web if you're interested, and you can go and look at papers and things. So I recommend that you do that if you're interested and curious. But the bottom line is it allows us to do reasonably accurate descriptions of molecules, or even really small molecules, so fragments of molecules, and describe them in a biologically relevant way. The bottom picture here shows one of the uses of the software, which is to do things like scaffold hopping, understanding the relationship between the importance of the electrostatics is not necessarily directly linked to the atoms that are involved. So you mess around with the atoms, the connectivity, which is different chemistry, but you then got the same sort of profile in terms of an electrostatic and shape recognition event. So there's a lot of that is core to our expertise, but we also focus on other things, which is on the next slide, not this slide. So this is another slide to illustrate the point. The reason why you might want to do 3D electrostatics and virtual screening on 3D electrostatics. So the top line shows you a relationship between three arguably quite different chemical structures, but these are all active at the same target. And it's only when you look at the bottom row of this slide that you realize that when you look at the 3D conformational description of these molecules, they all coalesce into a similar sort of pharmacophore. So that's the sort of thing that we're doing. So we can do things like full molecule searches, or we can do fragment replacement searches, lots of these sort of things where you're looking to do sort of backup finding or hit material finding. So now I'm going to go on to the structure-based side of this equation, which is the force field is not just a ligand force field, it's a universal force field. You can apply it to protein structure context as well. So this is an application where we put the field on the protein as well as the pocket. So this is the same ligand, but in its protein environment. And this is a measure of the electrostatic complementarity of that system, which shows you the match between the electrostatics of the ligand and the electrostatics of the protein. So green is good, where you've got a really good match. Green is red, where you've not got such a good match. So it's an opportunity for optimization of that system, potentially. So we're not just in the ligand-centric space, we're in the ligand and the structure-centric space. We've got lots of tools, really cool tools for doing analyses of structure-based as well as ligand-based analyses. So back to this picture that I promised we'd go back to and have a look at. This slide just shows you little icons that are representative of the software that we use. So we sell the software. In Discovery Services, we use and apply the software in a drug discovery or molecular discovery environment. So these are some of the areas in which those different tool sets are deployed across this sort of discovery network, if you like. So predominantly, as I said, mostly chemistry, but there is overlap with sequence alignment, protein analysis, protein alignment, pocket detection, pocket analysis in proteins. That's a bit more on the target side and the biology side rather than the ligand side. So we've got lots of different things that we do across this landscape of those activities. In terms of a traditional view of the drug discovery process, that is very linear, and you've got a starting point that's sort of target validation and then hit discovery. Again, there are lots of places in which our tools can be deployed across this discovery path, if you like. And this is another representation showing some of the things that we do. We do a lot of virtual screening. We also do molecular modeling on protein, so homology modeling, for instance, QSAR analyses. There's lots of things which you can read on the slide. There's also, this jigsaw was meant to show you that there are gaps. So again, demonstrating that there are things that we may not be able to do right now. We're developing things all the time within the software division, and those filter back into the Crescent Discovery Services organization, part of the organization, and we can deploy those. So one of the newest things that we can now add to the list that was a whole is FEP. So we do FEP as one of the things that we do to solve problems for clients.